May is National Historic Preservation Month, a perfect time to share this story. It happened 25 years ago, and it was a day that forever changed the history of this building and this entire valley. It involved a bus ride and a group of people with a major decision to make. At the wheel of that bus was this man, Bill Cook, who loved driving buses, among many other things. On board that bus was architect George Ridgway, who remembers that pivotal day with perfect clarity.
Bill drove Star of Indiana bus, and we had the historic landmark staff, myself, Greg Blum. Greg was engineer working for Cook at the time, and which he still does. He's in Iowa now, but we all came down. Steve was there, some of the press people from Cook, and it just so happened that a day or two before, the valley had had one of those torrential rains, and the garden was 1.5 feet deep of water. We drove Sinclair Street through about 1 foot of water with the bus, and of course you can imagine Bill driving the bus, and there were rooster tails of water going everywhere. And we walked the facility and everything. There's a bunch of historic pictures, I think, of that day, even in the lobby out here. Bill sent me home that day with one charge. He says, here's basically what I want to do. I want to restore the public spaces. I want it to look good from the street. We want to clean up the grounds, and we want the atrium, the big dome, to look pretty. And so I had some basic measurements on the building. I knew about how many square feet we had, within 100,000. I went back and did some estimating and ran some numbers and applied. I'd worked for Bill since 1987, and I applied the Bill Cook factor because things always escalate. Now, if your $2 million figure is right, my estimate was 14 million. And I told him that, and he said, oh, Lord, no, it can't be that much. And I said, Bill, just take the atrium. There's 34,800 square feet, just short of an acre. You tell me, what's it going to cost to just sweep the floor? I said, that's our problem. There's so much of this building that everything we do is going to cost. Well, we'll see, and he did. Went on about his merry way, and I said, okay. He had this vision, and he was not going to let it die. And we were walking, it was overgrown and chain link fence, and we were standing out here on the west side. And I vividly remember 2 things he asked and said that day. Just he and I were standing there, and he said, they said that there was an ice dam on the roof that made this collapse, and they said that the concrete was bad, and they said the workmanship was bad. And he said, you're the architect. What do you really think made all this 104 feet, which we didn't know at the time, but this part of the building collapse? And I just looked at him and I said, Bill, gravity be my guess. He looked at me and he said, all right, smartass. He said, he rubbed his hands together and he said, where do we start? And I said, Mr. Cook, that's not our problem. You tell me where we going to stop. That's our problem.
More prophetic words were never spoken. It hasn't stopped 25 years later. George is still involved with projects here at the resort, and the support of the Cook family has been unwavering, something worth celebrating during Historic Preservation Month.